Welcome to Headline to Heartline. Steven Spielberg did not just make another alien movie. He released it into a world that already feels like it is rehearsing for disclosure. Some mysteries hover above humanity for so long that they stop feeling like questions and start feeling like inheritance. These beings, or the possibility of them, carry mysteries that never seem to fully clear. They appear in fragments, in rumors, in lights over empty roads, in military silence, in family stories, in old documentaries, and in late-night conversations where someone always says, "I know what I saw." And maybe for the first time, the revelation feels close enough to touch. That is why Disclosure Day arrives at such a perfect cultural moment. This is a spoiler-free review, so I will not go into the details of the ending. But I will say this: the film understands that UFOs were never just about aliens. They were always about belief, secrecy, institutions, and the terrifying possibility that the world has been bigger than we were allowed to know. Most people of my generation grew up hearing stories about UFOs in a very different world. A world where cameras were not everywhere. A world where the human eye could see something that technology could not always prove. So these stories traveled differently, through parents, neighbors, pilots, late-night television, grainy photos, and people who were mocked but never fully dismissed. That is why this subject has lived so deeply in the collective imagination since the 1950s. Flying saucers, Roswell, government files, strange lights, missing time, people looking at the sky and wondering if the sky was looking back. So what changes now? Not necessarily the phenomenon. What changes is us. We seem to be entering a more collective readiness. Not proof, not certainty, not even belief, but readiness. Information now moves faster than fear can contain it. Secrets leak, videos spread, governments are pressured to answer, and the American government seems closer than ever to acknowledging that there are things in the sky it has not fully explained. That is not the same thing as confirming extraterrestrial life, but it is enough to shift the atmosphere. And inside that tension, between curiosity and proof, between faith and evidence, between what we see and what we are told, Spielberg places this movie. What I appreciated about Disclosure Day is that it does not feel like only one genre. It begins with mystery, then it becomes a conspiracy thriller, then it opens into science fiction, and little by little, fantasy enters the room. At times, it feels like a road movie. At times, it has the energy of a 1970s paranoid thriller. And at its best, it has that Spielberg feeling of childhood adventure, the sense that something impossible may be hiding just beyond the frame. This is Spielberg, stitching together many sides of himself. There is the Spielberg of wonder, the Spielberg of fear, the Spielberg who understands that children often believe before adults are ready to explain. The Spielberg who knows that governments build systems, secrets, agencies, and official versions of reality. But someone, somewhere, still looks up and asks the only question that matters. What if? And the craft is one of the strongest parts of the film. Spielberg's direction creates tension without losing humanity, and John Williams' score gives that tension a pulse. In the train chase sequence, image and music work together not just to make the scene bigger, but to make the unknown feel closer. And yes, some viewers may miss the more iconic themes from their past collaborations. Spielberg and Williams have given cinema some of the most unforgettable musical memories ever made. But not every mystery needs a melody we can immediately hum. Sometimes the music should not comfort us. Sometimes it should remind us that we are entering territory we do not fully understand. That is where the movie works for me. because the best alien stories are not only about spacecraft. They are about the human reaction to the unknown. They are about who controls the truth. They are about whether people deserve to know everything, even if the truth might break the world they thought they understood. Some viewers may find the film too busy or too restless compared with Spielberg's older alien stories. I understand that. The old Spielberg could make awe feel quiet. He could hold a face looking at something we could not see. But Disclosure Day is not trying to recreate that silence. It is imagining disclosure in the age of leaks, live streams, government statements, reaction videos, conspiracy threads, press conferences, and comment sections. If disclosure happened today, it probably would not arrive like a peaceful miracle on a mountain. It would arrive as chaos. And that is why the timing of this film feels so strong. Spielberg did not just make a movie about disclosure. He made a movie for a culture that already feels like it is waiting to be told something. The film becomes less about whether we are alone and more about whether we are ready. Ready to believe, ready to doubt, ready to accept that humanity may not be the center of the story. Without spoiling anything, I do think the ending is one of the strongest parts of the movie. Not because it explains everything in a simple way, but because it reframes the question. A brilliant ending, for me, is not always the one that solves the mystery. Sometimes it is the one that makes the mystery feel more personal. That is what Disclosure Day does. It takes something enormous, extraterrestrial life, government secrecy, the possibility of a hidden history, and brings it back to something deeply human. Fear, wonder, empathy, and the need to know the truth, even when the truth may change us. For decades, these stories lived between the sky and the imagination. Human eyes saw things that cameras could not capture. Families passed stories forward. Governments denied, delayed, classified, renamed. The mysteries stayed suspended above us, always visible, never fully reachable. But now we live in a world where everything is recorded, and somehow reality feels harder to prove than ever. That is the beautiful paradox of Disclosure Day. These beings, or the possibility of them, still bring mysteries that may never completely clear. But the revelation no longer feels like a fantasy from the past. It feels like something moving toward us. And maybe the biggest question is not whether they are coming. Maybe the biggest question is whether we are finally ready to look up. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this reflection connected with you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tonight, even if just for a moment, look at the stars. Not to find an answer, but to remember that some questions are big enough to make us human.